Human Rights, 30 Articles UDHR Charter, and the Rastafari livity in the information age of the 21st century. Unquestionably, the Rastafari livity in the 21st century is a direct expression of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, UDHR, Charter of Fundamental Equality, which are all interconnected, interrelated, interdependent and entitled to every human being. Beginning with Article 1 of the UDHR Charter, which justifies the Rastafari livity in securing equal human rights and international justice in collective security, all for one Negus and one Negus for all. It states that all are born debt-free and politically equal with inherent dignity, priceless value, and international rights, diplomatic privileges, and must conduct ourselves in the spirit of brotherhood without Jesuit-taught hypocrisy in sight. There is no discrimination against any human being under Article 2 of the UDHR Charter as written, yet by the failure to exercise these international rights through making a legitimate human rights claim upon which lawful remedy can be granted under Article 8, is the only reason why many people of African descent blindly submit to the politically backward ways of these Jesuit-taught politicians by mistake, and remain complacent and conformed under constitutional, mind and body, debt bondage which compels indigenous individuals to forcefully assimilate. Therefore, the Rastafari livity is a direct expression of the international right to life, living in full equality, liberty and the diplomatic protection of the individual through spiritual practices in collective unity. Under Article 3 of the UDHR Charter of Fundamental Equality, all forms of slavery have been outlawed, prohibited, under Article 4 of the UDHR Charter in equity, fairness, so as indigenous peoples within a Jesuit law society by tacit allegiance, agreement to tax-paying citizenship by silence, no human being is compelled to perform by working and paying Jesuit taxes with worthless and inflationary debt money, fool's gold. Furthermore, Article 5 legitimizes the international political fact that no one shall be subjected to tax-paying, torture or to cruel, inhuman or degrading treatment or punishment, as a debtor-citizen commercial victim. Hence, in conjunction with Article 20 of the UDHR, which states, everyone has an international right to freedom of peaceful assembly and association. So no one shall be compelled to belong to a bankrupt association, Commonwealth realm. This restricts Jesuit-taught politicians from playing plausible deniability when expressing international political negligence in office position, which is a crime against humanity, yet it can only be invoked through peaceful nonviolent civil disobedience human rights protest to exercise Article 30 of the UDHR Charter in collective unity. Article 30 states, nothing in this declaration may be interpreted as implying for any state, Government of Jamaica, group, Jesuit-taught JLP and PNP politicians, or person, Governor-General, Privy Council Prime Minister or Jesuit Pope for profit, any international right to engage in any commercial activity or to perform any political act aimed at the destruction of any of the international rights and fundamental political freedoms set forth herein. Henceforth, the Rastafari livity is lawfully justified as an indigenous Afrocentric culture created in spiritual, intellectual, opposition to the social engineering experiment conducted under the Order in Council Jamaican Constitution of 1962, which deprives indigenous peoples of African descent of the complete independence granted under the unanimous UN Resolution 1514 of 1960, exclusively to former colonial countries and indigenous peoples. It was the Rastafari livity that initiated the government-sponsored Back to Africa diplomatic mission in 1961 through international diplomacy, as it was lawfully justified under the unanimous UN Resolution 1514 with international political legitimacy, then cancelled after the undemocratic Order in Council Jamaican Constitution of 1962 was superimposed upon the meek, politically powerless. Now after 60-plus years of maladministration in parliament seats, Jesuit-taught politicians are in no moral position to make any legal determinations in the interests of indigenous peoples of African descent locally, as they have failed to declare independence from neo-colonialism as a top priority, since a country or people are not considered sovereign or independent until an indigenous declaration of independence is made publicly. Therefore, it is obvious that the Prime Minister's allegiance to the Privy Council in England is a direct conflict of interest to people of African descent in the Jamaican Law Society, as it is considered high treason to betray one's country or sovereignty, political free will. These criminal actions ensures the credibility of the people to lawfully demand his immediate resignation by peaceful public assembly, or face criminal sanctions from the International Criminal Court of Justice, ICCJ, for human rights violations against the population entirely, pursuant to Article 1 of the UDHR Charter. In our modern world of social democracy, political choices, freedom and equality are twin birthrights entitled equally to every human being, so it is only through miseducation, irreligious indoctrination and manufactured consent that Jesuit-taught politicians are puffed up at the present, while lacking human rights reasoning ability and moral conscience, knowing right from Jesuit wrong and choosing human rights. Henceforth, the Rastafari livity is a powerful ecclesiastical, religious and political force when exercised for positive purposes in collective unity, which is why it is dysfunctional to remain divided under Jesuit rule in a commercial system of constitutional, mind and body, debt slavery, after burning down colonialism all night in divine chanting with spirituality. For the Rastafari livity already exists within the private indigenous realm of the Jamaican Law Society, and is entitled to diplomatic protections and sovereign immunities in private international diplomacy, equally as the Vatican Unholy See as a religious entity was granted diplomatic accreditation by the King of Italy. So there is nothing to fear but fear, false expectations appearing real, itself, as an indigenous group of people of African descent cannot be criminalized for exercising their equal human rights entitlements, even in the face of Jesuit-taught politicians who act contrary to the Charter of the United Nations in political ignorance. This is the perfect time and timing for the baby Lion of Judah to tell his side of the Jesuit story, as the young risen Ethiopian monarch in human rights victory, so that peoples of African descent can democratically unite in spirituality, and entice the whole human race to end Jesuitism in human rights solidarity. We are in the final year of the fourth international decade for peoples of African descent to eradicate neo-colonialism in the present. So as a good person, do not allow this evil debt-based Jesuit system of inequality to persist without positive democratic reaction in civil disobedience, lawful refusal to obey unjust constitutional law. Up, 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 you mighty human race, and let us diplomatically accomplish everything that we the people of African descent can will into political existence, as over 7 billion people are grinding at the wheel of misfortune while accumulating worthless and inflationary debt instruments, fool's gold. For if an Ethiopian Orthodox human rights prophet have obscurely risen from the commercial abyss in our modern world of social democracy, to bring a swift end to the debt-based economic system of global financial slavery, then why not organize and centralize with the human rights knowledge, political power over self, gifted to all in true equity, fairness? As it was without worthless and inflationary debt money that people of African descent were self-domesticated into the geopolitical Jesuit system of capitalism and usury, exploitation, as a social engineering experiment unwittingly, so it will be without worthless and inflationary debt money that the will of the people of African descent exercise their equal human rights to access international justice, just political action, with cultural and political autonomy therefore, by natural human rights selection. The Rastafari livity is the social vanguard of the UDHR Charter in practicality, yet indigenous individuals have been persecuted by repressive measures under constitutional debt slavery, until this moment in time where human rights knowledge has increased to inform, enlighten and empower the grassroots people in every garrison community, since true peace and equal freedoms are not sustained by want and fear in a debt-based Jesuit system of artificially created scarcity. In conclusion, we the people of African descent have nothing to lose but the constitutional chains of debt slavery, and everything to gain through a peaceful non-violent civil disobedience human rights protest in solidarity. Selah. Get up, stand up, speak out and let's end Jesuitism now, as diplomatic actions and collective unity is the only political way to spiritually, intellectually, milk the Jesuit cow, covert operations worldwide. Ephesians 3 verses 20-21, revised in Ethiopian Spectacles. Now to His Imperial Majesty, who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to His sovereign ecclesiastical, religious and political power that is at work within us through a continuity of His divine sovereignty, political free will, to Him be glory in the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church and in Christos Iesous, He who saves humanity from civil death, throughout all generations, forever and ever. Amen.
Give thanks for watching, and if you need more information or wish to participate with a human rights contribution, then please feel free to contact us at kingdomofdebrizit2020@gmail.com in human rights solidarity. Blessings.